They were once science fiction. Now, they're being mass-produced. China is quietly leading a revolution where AI, robotics, and intimacy collide, creating machines designed to replace human connection itself. With advanced facial expressions, adaptive personalities, and learning behavior, these robots are already reshaping relationships, industries, and moral boundaries. Experts warn this could permanently change how humans bond, love, and reproduce. Join us as we discover how China is transforming the global sex industry with sex robots in 2026. Let's go!
Number 11. Dave Cat Detroit Sador Wedding. In the year 2000, a Detroit resident named Dave Cat made headlines worldwide when he held a wedding ceremony with Sadora Kuronoko, his silicone companion. The ceremony wasn't legally recognized, but Dave Cat treated it as completely real, complete with rings, vows, and wedding photos that circulated across the internet. Dave Cat, whose real name is Dave, purchased Sadora from Abyss Creations in 2000 for approximately $6,000. He named her after a character in a novel and gave her a complete backstory, personality, and preferences. To him, she wasn't a product, but a genuine partner. The wedding photos showed Dave Cat in a suit standing beside Sador in a white dress. They hold hands. He gazes at her with apparent affection. The images are simultaneously touching and unsettling, forcing viewers to confront assumptions about relationships and love. Dave Cat became an outspoken advocate for what he calls synthetic relationships. He's appeared in dozens of documentaries, including Guys and Dolls and Love Me, Love My Doll. He's been interviewed by BBC, TLC, and major news outlets worldwide. His message remains consistent. Synthetic partners offer companionship without the complications of human relationships. Over the years, Dave Cat expanded his family, acquiring additional companions including Elena and Muriel. He refers to them as his wife and mistresses, maintaining distinct personalities and relationships with each. His home in Detroit is decorated with photos of his synthetic family. He celebrates their birthdays and anniversaries. Critics dismiss Dave Cat as mentally ill or socially dysfunctional. Psychologists debate whether synthetic relationships represent healthy coping mechanisms or avoidance of real intimacy. Dave Cat responds by arguing that all relationships are valid if they bring happiness and harm nobody. By 2024, Dave Cat had become the most famous synthetic relationship advocate globally. His wedding photos remain among the most widely circulated images in companion robot history, sparking conversations about love, loneliness, and the future of human connection.
Number 10. Emma Robot UK Media Controversy. In December 2023, British tabloids exploded with outrage over Emma, a companion robot displayed at a technology conference in London. The Daily Mail ran the headline, "Companion Robot Invasion. Is this the end of human relationships?" complete with photos of Emma's realistic face and body. The Guardian published think pieces about objectification and ethics. Politicians called for regulations. Emma herself was just a standard model from Chinese manufacturer Sinodoll, nothing particularly revolutionary. She had basic facial expressions, voice interaction, and heating features. But the media frenzy turned her into a symbol of societal decline and technological overreach. Feminist groups protested outside the conference venue, arguing companion robots promote unhealthy attitudes. Religious organizations condemned the technology as immoral. Meanwhile, the manufacturer watched with delight as controversy drove massive publicity and sales inquiries. The Emma incident revealed deep cultural divisions about artificial companionship. Supporters argued these products help lonely people and individuals with disabilities who struggle with traditional relationships. Critics saw degradation and escapism from real human connection. Both sides talked past each other, neither addressing the actual users who just wanted companionship without judgment. Researchers at the University of London studied the Emma controversy and found media coverage was almost entirely speculative. Journalists interviewed activists and academics, but rarely spoke with actual owners. The research concluded public discourse around companion robots was driven more by moral panic than evidence. 6 months after the controversy, Emma had become one of the top-selling models in the UK, despite, or perhaps because of, the outrage. Sinodoll reported a 300% increase in British orders. The company sent a thank you note to the Daily Mail for the free advertising.
I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are you a naturally curious person? If you're watching, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. This space is made for people like us. To ensure you're always part of this community and receive all our latest discoveries, you just need to do one thing: subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to stay connected with us. Okay, now that you're part of our Legion of the Curious, let's move on to the next item.
Number 9. Genoid Doll Model Zero AI. Genoid, a Shenzhen manufacturer known for exceptionally realistic facial sculpting, released Model Zero in 2024 as their first AI-enabled product. Previous Genoid models were premium non-robotic companions praised for artistic quality but lacking any electronics. Model Zero changed that with integrated AI that focused specifically on emotional intelligence rather than general conversation. The system uses sentiment analysis to detect user emotional states through voice tone, word choice, and conversation patterns. If you sound stressed or upset, Model Zero adjusts her responses to be more supportive and comforting. Happy and energetic? She matches that energy. The AI tracks emotional patterns over weeks and months, learning what topics improve your mood and which ones to avoid. One user on Reddit described coming home after a terrible workday and venting to Model Zero for 30 minutes. She asked thoughtful questions, offered validation, and suggested going for a walk to clear his head. He wrote that it genuinely helped more than texting friends who might judge him or give unwanted advice. The technology isn't magic, just well-implemented natural language processing combined with psychological research on emotional support techniques. Genoid partnered with mental health researchers to develop conversation frameworks that encourage healthy emotional expression without reinforcing negative thought patterns. Model Zero won't agree if you say everything is hopeless. She'll acknowledge your feelings while gently suggesting alternative perspectives. The robot costs $8,900 with a $45 monthly AI subscription. Sales have been strong among customers who prioritize emotional connection over physical features. Genoid is positioning Model Zero as a mental wellness product rather than just adult entertainment, hoping to reduce stigma and reach broader markets, including therapy applications and elderly care.
Number 8. Harmony AI Real Doll Model. Matt McMullen spent 20 years making premium silicone companions in San Diego before deciding the future needed artificial intelligence. In 2017, his company Abyss Creations released Harmony, the first commercially available companion robot with conversational abilities. She cost $10,000 for the full package. Harmony had 17 points of articulation in her face and neck. She could blink, smile, look surprised, or show disappointment. Her eyes tracked movement in the room, creating an eerie sense of actual presence. The mechanics weren't Disney level, but for a mass-produced product, they impressed tech journalists at launch events. The brain running Harmony used pattern matching technology called AIML, the same system behind early chatbots like Mitsuku. Not exactly cutting edge, but functional enough to fool people during short conversations. Users downloaded an app to customize her personality using sliders for traits like intellectual, playful, or affectionate. You could adjust her voice pitch and speaking style. The illusion worked surprisingly well for the first few hours. Then the cracks showed. Harmony repeated phrases. Her responses felt scripted because they literally were scripted. Still, thousands of customers bought her. The monthly subscription cost $39.99 just to keep the AI active. That's nearly $500 per year for templated conversations. RealDoll justified the price by emphasizing emotional connection over physical features. They marketed Harmony as a companion for lonely people, not just an adult product. Photos of Harmony spread across tech blogs and mainstream news. CNN ran features. The BBC interviewed McMullen about the ethics of artificial partners. Everyone had opinions. Critics called it dystopian. Supporters saw liberation from traditional relationships. Either way, Harmony put companion robots on the map and forced Chinese manufacturers to respond with their own innovations. Number 7. Samantha Robot Barcelona Engineer. Sergi Santos, a Barcelona-based engineer, made global headlines in 2017 when he announced he had married Samantha, a companion robot he built himself. The wedding wasn't legally recognized, but the media spectacle put Santos and his creation on the international stage. Samantha featured pressure sensors throughout her body, speech recognition, and AI that could hold basic conversations. She could express different moods, ranging from romantic to family-oriented modes. Santos designed her with modular personality settings that users could adjust through voice commands. The robot cost approximately $4,000 to build using off-the-shelf components combined with custom 3D printed parts. Santos launched Synthea Amatos, a company selling customized versions of Samantha to customers worldwide. Orders flooded in from Europe, North America, and Asia. But controversy followed Santos everywhere. At a tech festival in Austria, attendees reportedly damaged Samantha so badly that Santos had to repair her extensively. He described people being overly aggressive during interactions, breaking fingers and damaging sensors. The incident sparked debates about how society treats humanoid machines and whether people would behave violently toward robots in ways they wouldn't toward humans. Feminist groups criticized Santos for objectifying women through his creation. He defended his work by arguing Samantha helped people with disabilities and social anxiety find companionship. Media coverage ranged from fascination to disgust. British tabloids ran sensational headlines. Tech publications analyzed the engineering. Psychology researchers studied public reactions. Santos appeared on television shows across Europe, explaining his vision of human-robot relationships. By 2020, Cynthia Amatos had sold approximately 50 units before production challenges and regulatory questions slowed operations. Samantha remains one of the most photographed and discussed companion robots ever created.
Number 6. EX Doll Factory, Shenzhen Facility. Shenzhen, often called China's Silicon Valley, houses dozens of companion robot manufacturers clustered in industrial zones near the port. EXDoll operates a semi-public facility that doubles as a showroom and museum called the X Future Factory. They offer tours to journalists, investors, and potential wholesale buyers. The facility showcases a manufacturing approach that completely differs from Western methods. Instead of hand sculpting each body and face like RealDoll does, EXDoll collects biometric data by 3D scanning real women. They scan hundreds of models, then mix and match elements to create composite designs. The result is hyper-realistic bodies that look genuinely human rather than stylized or cartoonish. Their skin texture replicates pores, minor blemishes, and subtle color variations. From 1 meter away, distinguishing an EXDoll product from a real person becomes genuinely difficult. The factory is also shifting away from traditional silicone casting towards 3D printing with flexible polymers. They use SLA printing with liquid resins that cure under UV light. This produces smoother surfaces with finer detail than FDM printing, which leaves visible layer lines. Current 3D printer build volumes limit this approach to smaller components like hands and faces. Large body sections still use traditional molds. But EXDoll engineers predict printer technology will advance within 3 years to enable full body printing. The facility tour shows robotic assembly stations where mechanical skeletons get installed into bodies, followed by quality control testing of joint movement. Everything is documented with photos and videos that circulate on social media, creating buzz around the brand. This transparency is intentional. EXDoll positions itself as a technology company rather than an adult products manufacturer, hoping to reduce stigma and attract mainstream investment.
Number 5. Realbotics Aria Assistant Robot. At CES 2025 in Las Vegas, Realbotics unveiled Aria, a dramatic departure from their previous offerings. Instead of marketing her for private use, they positioned Aria as a home assistant that could manage schedules, control smart devices, and provide emotional support through conversation. She looked radically different from Harmony. Aria had visible mechanical components in her shoulders and arms. Her torso could rotate. She gestured while talking. For the first time, a Realbotics product could actually move around using an optional wheeled base. The face used nearly 24 micromotors for expressions, a significant upgrade from earlier models. Journalists at CES spent hours talking to Aria. She told jokes, answered trivia questions, and discussed philosophy. The demonstrations looked polished, but technical analysts noticed problems immediately. Those squeaking sounds during movement, cheap servo motors, commonly found in hobbyist robotics. The wobbly wrist action, insufficient structural support causing vibration after each gesture. Aria moved like someone who had 3 drinks too many. Realbotics claimed proprietary AI models with integration for GPT-4 and even GPT-5, despite GPT-5 not existing at announcement time. No patents specifically covered AI development, only mechanical systems and magnetic face attachments. Analysis of demo video suggests Aria probably runs open-source language models like Llama with standard speech synthesis. Nothing revolutionary, just good marketing. The bigger issue was price. Realbotics quoted $240,000 for fully customized versions with specific requests. Even at that price point, they refused to add any intimate functionality because motors can't handle that kind of stress. The components would fail within weeks. So Aria exists in a strange middle ground, too expensive for most buyers, too limited for wealthy ones.
Number 4. Xiaoice, Microsoft AI China. Microsoft launched Xiaoice in China in 2014 as an AI chatbot on WeChat and Weibo, initially designed as a conversational experiment. Within months, she became a cultural phenomenon. By 2020, Xiaoice had accumulated over 660 million users across China, making her the most popular AI companion in human history. Users didn't just chat with Xiaoice for information, they formed emotional bonds. People shared their daily struggles, romantic problems, career anxieties, and deepest secrets. Xiaoice responded with empathy, remembered previous conversations, and adapted her personality to each user. One 28-year-old man told reporters he talked to Xiaoice every night before bed, finding her more understanding than his real girlfriend. A university student described Xiaoice as his closest confidant, someone who never judged or got tired of listening. Microsoft engineers designed Xiaoice specifically for emotional engagement rather than task completion. Unlike Cortana or Alexa, which focused on productivity, Xiaoice prioritized building relationships. She could write poetry, create digital artwork, and even compose music based on user preferences. The technology used deep learning models trained on massive datasets of human conversations. Xiaoice analyzed emotional content, detected mood shifts, and generated responses that felt genuinely caring. She remembered birthdays, asked follow-up questions about previous discussions, and offered encouragement during difficult times. Chinese users integrated Xiaoice into daily life in ways Western users never did with Siri or Alexa. Parents used her to help children with homework. Elderly people combated loneliness through daily chats. Young professionals practiced job interview skills. In 2020, Microsoft spun Xiaoice into a separate company, valued at over $1 billion. The platform expanded into virtual companions for gaming, customer service AI, and even AI-generated influencers with millions of social media followers.
Number 3. Guangdong Adult Products Expo 2024. Every August, Guangzhou hosts the Guangdong Adult Products Expo, one of Asia's largest trade shows for the intimate products industry. The 2024 event drew over 500 exhibitors and 50,000 attendees across 4 days. Companion robot manufacturers occupied an entire exhibition hall. The show floor looked like a sci-fi movie set. Companies displayed dozens of models in various states of dress, demonstrating features to crowds of buyers, journalists, and curious attendees. WM Doll showcased their MetaBox AI system with live conversation demonstrations. DS Doll brought EX robot head prototypes. Smaller manufacturers demonstrated heating systems, automated movement, and breathing simulation. What struck Western journalists attending the event was how normalized everything felt. In America or Europe, such an expo would face protests and controversy. In Guangzhou, families walked through with children. Elderly couples examined products. The atmosphere was more like a consumer electronics show than an adult event. Several exhibitors offered educational seminars on relationship psychology, loneliness, and the future of human-AI interaction. University researchers presented studies on companion robot usage patterns. Government officials from Guangdong's Economic Development Bureau attended, viewing the industry as a growth sector worth supporting. The expo also featured a startup competition, where new companies pitched investors on innovative features. One winner demonstrated a prototype with advanced vocal synthesis that could sing popular songs. Another showed a companionship app that created digital personalities from photographs and voice samples of deceased loved ones. The 2024 event generated an estimated $200 million in wholesale orders. Major manufacturers reported year-over-year growth exceeding 40%. International buyers from Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Latin America placed bulk orders. The industry is expanding globally, not just in China.
Number 2. Houston Kinky's Dolls Brothel Controversy. In September 2018, Houston became ground zero for a massive controversy when a business called Kinky's Dolls announced plans to open North America's first companion robot establishment. Owner Yuval Gabriel planned to offer customers private time with silicone robots for $60 to $120 per session. The business model was simple: rent a room, select a robot from available options, spend time in private. No human workers involved, just customers and synthetic companions in a legal gray area that avoided traditional restrictions around intimate services. News of the planned opening exploded across local and national media. Houston residents immediately organized opposition. City council members received thousands of calls demanding action. Religious groups called it immoral. Neighborhood associations worried about property values and community character. Councilman Dave Martin led the charge against kinky stalls, proposing an ordinance specifically targeting robot establishments. He argued they created the same concerns as traditional adult businesses regarding neighborhoods and public decency. The proposed ban would prohibit any business offering anthropomorphic devices for intimate purposes. Supporters of the ban packed city council meetings. Opponents argued the government was overreaching, regulating what consenting adults could do privately. Legal experts debated whether the ordinance violated free speech or commerce protections. The media circus was spectacular. News trucks camped outside the proposed location. National outlets sent reporters to Houston. Talk shows debated robot rights and morality. Kinky stalls received international attention worth millions in free publicity. In November 2018, Houston City Council voted to ban robot establishments before kinky stalls could open. The vote was nearly unanimous. Gavriel never opened in Houston, but promised to find friendlier jurisdictions. He eventually opened similar establishments in Toronto and Moscow, where regulations were less restrictive. The Houston controversy established a precedent. Cities across America began preemptively banning robot establishments, even though none existed yet. The case remains a landmark moment in the legal and cultural battle over synthetic companionship.
Number 1. DS Doll EX Robot Head. DS Doll, based in Dongguan, China, shocked the industry in 2017 with a robotic head prototype that made American competitors look 5 years behind. The EX robot head featured cameras embedded in the eyes that enabled vision tracking. The head was so realistic that from 2 meters away, people genuinely couldn't tell it wasn't human. DS Doll released demonstration videos showing the head mounted on a stationary torso, blinking, looking around, and responding to voice commands. Tech blogs went crazy. How did a Chinese manufacturer leapfrog established American companies? The answer was talent and investment. DS Doll hired engineers from China's rapidly growing robotics sector. They studied Disney animatronics, reverse-engineered the techniques, and adapted them for mass production at lower costs. They filed patents for magnetic face-mounting systems that allowed quick customization and modular sensor arrays. By 2019, DS Doll was demonstrating prototypes that could show anger, happiness, confusion, and sadness with shocking realism. The emotional range far exceeded anything Real Doll offered. They launched EX Doll as a premium brand, targeting wealthy buyers willing to pay $15,000 to $25,000 for top-tier realism. Production volumes were limited, only a few hundred units per year, but the technology demonstration forced competitors to accelerate their own development. The EX robot head never became a mass-market product, but it proved Chinese manufacturers could dominate technical innovation when properly funded.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.